Hi, I'm Wild Bill, military and historical affairs correspondent and analyst for Redbeard Pirate Radio. Today I want to address an elephant in the room that I never saw until now. I'm, I'm equating at this point, in a very rough way, the traditional Gojo samurai, those who served, they were the upper level of what we'd call bushi today, means warrior in Japan. Bushido is the art of the warrior, the way of the warrior. Um, and the European lance connects, or the knight as we call them, the armored knight, the knight in armor, from about 900 AD to about 1600 AD by our reckoning. Uh, these guys represented the cream of their military might, the respective nations and organizations, in certain specific ways. I may not discuss those in this video, but I have elsewhere and will again. But what I want to talk about today in specific is the headdresses of their leaders. You knew Oda Nobunaga on the battlefield. You knew Usugi Kenshin on the battlefield. You knew Takeda or Mori on the battlefield because they were known for that headdress. They were known for that crazy helm. Oda, there's that beautiful, it looks like he's got half a staghorn on one side and a crescent moon, and you would know him anywhere. And the same thing with Count Baldwin or Count Girard or Count Renard or Duke William or any of these guys. They were visible on the battlefield because they had a unique headdress, unique armoring scheme because they could afford the best or the most comprehensive. And so you would know them on the battlefield. Until today, I never thought, well, how the hell would you know him on the battlefield? I'm a Frenchman. I've never seen Duke William. I'm a Frenchman, they call that today. But in those days, there were 16 different principalities that made up France. And how would you know from one to the next who was the leader, who was the best knight? In Japan, you wouldn't because it was very insular. Even communities were walled and gated to keep the poor away from the wealthy. But in medieval Europe, we have the tradition of the tourney, or the joust, or the tilt. In England, they had them too. And so in these cases, you had a tour. All your nobles, your future military leaders, and the present ones, would all dress up in their definitive armor and headpiece and be shown with great fanfare and audience participation sometimes at the tourneys and the jousts and the tilts. So your peasant, who would soon be in a medieval army, he would be raised, as rabble by his lord, or your young knights or squires or men-at-arms who are part of the scutage that your lord pays to the king during campaign season. These guys would then be able to recognize, that's Count Girard. I heard about that helmet. Now I've seen it for myself. That's Count Girard. So when we're on the battlefield and he is my liege lord's liege lord, and I see that helm, I will say, boys, rally around Count Girard, and we'll all gather around him and carry the day with Elan. That's a very French concept. Nothing to do with Makoto, which is a very Japanese concept. Not to be confused with ninja, or can it be? Anyway, I'm not talking about canopies here. We're going back to the medieval connect, and we're going to say that he was very visible to his entire community and probably all of Europe or all of England because he was part of this touring group, the equivalent of a rock tour, rock star tour these days, or Britney Spears tour, a major Lady Gaga tour, where all the people that could afford to would go to the concert. In those days, the concert was a big war. It was a mock war fought between the various factions, sometimes with blooded weapons, sometimes just with promises that I'll go easy on you. That must have been some kind of entertainment. But at any rate, there'd be food, and there'd be music, there'd be fools, there'd be jugglers, there'd be every kind of diversion, including sexually transmitted disease or two, available to mankind. As I say in my song Ring Ball, food and drink and all these things that every man desires. All I do is reach my hand down, quench my soul in fire. Literally the medieval tournament. And that is how your man-at-arms on the field would know who his leaders and who the enemy were, because he had seen them compete at the tournament. So the outlandish headdress, at least on the European and English knights, was both an identifier on the battlefield, but for specialists, but was also generic advertisement so that everybody had product recognition. When you're a peasant rabbi and you got some armored knight down, you've all got like pitchforks and claws and hammers, and you're going to kill him. He doesn't have a chance. He's on his back, and he goes like, and he's inside the helmet. And you go like, wait, that's Count Gerard. Look at that helmet. Sorry, Count. You get him up again. You let him kill a few of you, and then he runs off, and you save the day. Or you've got one down. You see like, hey, that's that English bastard, or that's that, that's that French bastard. That's a Merovingian bastard. That's that Saxon traitor. That's the, see what I mean? And you would know also on the field, if you were a peasant, which armored men that you save for ransom. I think that's the purpose of armor, by the way, is to identify you as a person that could pay a ransom. And so they're not as likely to kill you, and because of the armor, you're more likely to survive the peasant's cruel jests and insults before you get to someone that will take your surrender. So this is Wild Bill on that elephant in the room, that very visible wild helmet of the medieval lord or baron or high-level connect. It wasn't just an identifier on the battlefield per se in specificity. It was a generic product recognition tool. This is Wild Bill for Redbeard Pirate Radio, 11th of May, 2023.